Hello, my name is Rayaklin, and I am the creator and host of Dying a Detroit Lions Fan. This is just a quickie intro of to who I am and the reason for me to create both a podcast and a video cast concerning with the subject of the Detroit Lions. First, I was born and raised in the Flint, Michigan area. Been a Lion fan since birth, basically. It's been an interesting journey, needless to say. In my 64 years, I've yet to see a Detroit Lions championship. I guess Detroit did win one when I was about a year old, but of course I do not recall that myself, being a 1-year-old. But with the coronavirus that we're dealing with and this being shut down, locked in, stay safe, it was driving me crazy. I was completely bored. No sports on television. Replays, if anything. Regular television sucks. I don't see anything that I'm really interested in and really want to pay attention to. So, laying in bed one night, I thought, why the hell not do something that would give me a purpose and a reason to kind of like get out of bed in the morning and concentrate and do something. So, my original idea was to do a podcast, which I started, and I will include links to the first 4 episodes of my podcast in the notes of this video cast. But while I was doing that, it dawned on me, why not do a video cast too? So that's where we're at now. I have decided to do a video cast, and I've already did an introduction of myself on the podcast, but felt I needed to do one here as well. Looking at the camera, looking at the screen right now, I noticed that there is a blob that's up there, okay, on the poster I had made up for this podcast in particularly. Unfortunately, that is the reflection of my computer screen. In my office, I don't know how to get rid of it. I played around with many different lighting ideas and everything else, but the fact that this is where I'm going to start the podcast or video cast from, I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to hide that. But basically, the poster is just blown up of what I'm using as a screenshot for all the video casts. Let's get back to the creation and why. I mentioned I've been a Detroit Lion fan all my life. I have a history of the Detroit Lions, and I'm not going to redo that now. I'll never be able to recreate the energy and passion I had for it at the time I recorded it. But I went through the history of the Detroit Lions. basically from 1961 on, and particularly since Mr. Ford, Bill Ford, took over the team in 1963. I went through the coaches that Detroit has had. They've had 19 coaches since 1963. The franchise actually started in 1931, and between 31 and 1961, when Ford got involved, they had 4 championships, and that was only in 31 years. The Fords now have owned the Detroit Lions for going into the 61st season, and we have nothing to show for it. So 2/3 of the years of the Lions' total franchise organization, we've had 1 playoff win in 61 years. Since Bill Ford took over the ownership and actually became a minority partner, there have been 19 head coaches for the Detroit Lions. There is only 9 head coaches within the first 31 years of the franchise, and that's going back through war years, and basically the NFL and these franchises were struggling to stay afloat. So I don't know what it tells you about the Fords, but they've been really, really, really outstanding. Also, since 1956, and I use in the year 1956 because the quarterback was also there for 1957, and some of them going back to when Bill Ford actually became a minority owner. We've had 41 quarterbacks for the Detroit Lions. If you go back, it's amazing to look at the ineptitude of that position that has been on the Lions moniker. There's been nobody with any tenure with the Detroit Lions, with the exception of Matt Stafford, who's going into his 10th season. We've never had a quarterback really be with Detroit for more than 4 years. And yet we hear people complain left and right that Matt Stafford is the problem. Sorry, Matt Stafford's not the problem. Since 1954, we've had 16 playoff berths. We've had 13 actual playoff berths since Bill Ford has taken control of the organization. And Mrs. Ford's included in that too. And out of that time, we've got 1 win out of 13 games. Can you venture to guess the quarterback who that 1 win belongs to? I know, I completely forgot about it. And although when I looked it up, I do remember the name, I was quite surprised, as a matter of fact, that that one person was Eric Kramer. And Kramer wasn't nothing to write home about. You know, also if we turn around and look at Detroit's career passing records, now granted, I fully admit that Stafford has been the longest tenured quarterback ever in the franchise in the Ford era. He leads the record books by miles. He also has the highest completion percentage of any quarterback that's ever played for Detroit. He's passed for over 41,000 yards, 256 TDs, and 134 interceptions. The second place person on that list was Bobby Lane, who only completed 49% of his passes, but did throw for 15,700 yards, 118 TDs, and get this, 142 interceptions. Kind of amazing that the most storied quarterback in Lion history prior to Stafford has always been Bobby Lane. And he threw more interceptions than touchdowns. Anyways, we won't get into a lot, but no other quarterback, with the exception of Scott Mitchell, in the Detroit record books. Mitchell was 79 TDs and 57 interceptions. Greg Landry, Danielson, and Hipple all have more interceptions than they do have for touchdowns. So my reasoning for doing this is I'm a passionate fan, much like I'm sure most of you are. In the last 20 years, 25 years maybe, in particularly, I can't tell you how many Sunday afternoons have been ruined watching Detroit Lions football. I'm either drunk by the end of a game, pissed off to no end, angry, can't believe the ineptitude of the coaching, as well as the untimely plays that are made. And I attribute a lot of that to actually being the coaching of the franchise. My idea behind this video cast and podcast are going to be that I want to pay attention in regards to the Lions transactions that they make, and I'm going to critique them a little bit. I am going to critique the ownership and management of the organization, and I'm not going to include it here, but the Lions picked up another wide receiver this morning, last night or this morning, one of the two. And I kind of feel that Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia know their asses are gone. They're done. And with some of the transactions that they've made this free agency period and the start of the new year, I have a conspiracy theory, if you want to call it that, of what they're doing. And I'll include that in the next video cast I'm going to do later on this afternoon. A little more about me. Again, 61 years old, college educated, degreed, been in the business world basically since I was 15, 16, well, 16 years old, I guess. Some people may not like this, but I am a dyed-in-wool Michigan State and Spartans fan. Some of the U of M people don't like that, but I've been that way all my life. And in the years of running a family bar business, there's been a lot of give and take for Saturdays in the fall when Michigan and Michigan State play. All in good-natured fun, but still I'm going to be a die-hard State fan. The Lion fandom, I should say, I'm growing weary of the team, and at 64 years old, knowing we're going to be facing another rebuild real soon, probably by mid-season, or I'll venture to say I'm going to put money on it by December 1st, at least Patricia's gone. And if Mrs. Ford had any brains whatsoever, she'd make sure Quinn went along with them. Concept of this is going to be, I'm probably going to do some kind of a podcast, video cast, whatever the case may be. Whenever I do a podcast or video cast from now on, I'm going to do one of each. So they're both going to be there. So if you can't watch a video cast, you can listen to the podcast if you so subscribe and decide to listen to it on your way to work, on the way back, whatever the case may be. So at least one or two of those a week. I plan on having a pregame party where we discuss the upcoming opponent of the Lions on a weekend. And depending upon the outcome of a Lions actual game and my mood. I will do a recap of the weekly game, and that'll either be probably shortly thereafter the game, whatever day they play. And I don't see too many Thursdays or Mondays coming up this year at all, so it's probably going to be nothing but Sundays. Or Monday for doing the broadcast. The reason I say that is if it's one of those games where the coaching has absolutely fell apart, or like so many games from 2017 where the Lions were in positions to win games, and within the last 3 minutes of the game they couldn't stop a JV high school team, let alone another professional football team, and how many games did they lose by less than 7 points. And in addition to that, out of the 6 wins they had during the year, how many did Matt Stafford come back and win with the last drive, and either getting him in a position for a touchdown or a field goal? So depending on how my mood is after a game, I could be ballistic, and you might like to see me do one of the ballistic rants, but I'll try to control it, knowing that we're going to be on video. I probably should watch my wording a little more than I have to do on a podcast, but I will admit and make you aware now that explicit content can be expected on this video cast. I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to say my feelings, and I hope to have some conversation with people that follow the video cast and interact with them either during the show or video cast, or if they leave a note, I'll make sure I address them in the following either video cast or podcast that we do. The other thing I want to do, as you can see, my office, that blur bothers me to hell. But as summer comes up, I'm going to be outside a lot more. I have my garage set up. It's not finished, but I have my garage set up with a bar in it, and my refrigerator, and my little goodies to keep outside. I may do a lot more of the podcast and video cast outside. I know it'll give me better lighting, and it also should get rid of that glare behind me. So until the weather breaks, the majority of my recordings, I think, will be outdoors. In the show notes, I will include contact information for me, and the reason I do that is I'd like to see if there's any people that want to co-host with me on especially a video cast, but podcast as well. I think it would be nice to have someone else to chit-chat back and forth with, throw our thoughts off of each other, and discuss the situation of the Detroit Lions. So if you think you might be interested in doing either a video cast or podcast and are local to the Flint, Michigan area, give me a holler and or reach out to me. Let's talk, and let's try to schedule something and make it happen. There may be a couple of different avenues, ways to do it. We may be able to FaceTime, and I can just record myself and be able to pick your voice up. Also, I'm anticipating getting a couple microphones so that if I do have someone that can get together and we can do a two-person podcast or video cast, I don't have to worry about levels of sound or whatever the case may be, and we can have a little fun doing it, as well as drink maybe a couple cold Miller Lights. So we can go from there. So basically, that's enough about me for right now. I hope you will follow the podcast, subscribe to the video cast on YouTube. I'm looking for another place to put the video cast out on, and I really don't have a firm grasp of a good place to go that's not going to cost me an arm and a leg, especially now that I am retired. So I'll put everything in the notes, contact information, whatever the case may be. Again, thank you for listening to this video cast. My name is Rick Yaklin again, and I will see you on the next one. Enjoy, stay safe, and pay attention so we can get over this thing and we don't have to have the football season pushed off. Have a great afternoon. Take care.